Winter had wrapped a quiet French village in a blanket of snow. Smoke curled lazily from chimneys. Warm light glowed behind frosted windows. Families gathered around their supper tables, while the icy wind howled through the empty streets. But not everyone had a home to return to. A lone traveler struggled through the snow. His coat was torn. His boots were worn through. His face was rough with hunger, exhaustion, and 10 years of suffering. Around his neck hung a yellow passport. It was only a small piece of paper. Yet wherever he went, people saw it before they saw the man. He stopped outside a cottage where a family was finishing supper. For a moment he simply stood there, watching the warm light through the window. Then he gathered his courage and knocked. The door opened slightly. A middle-aged woman looked out. Her eyes fell upon the yellow passport. Her expression hardened immediately.
A convict? No, not in my house.
The door slammed shut. The traveler remained standing. He did not knock again. He had already heard that answer too many times. He walked farther into the village. A farmer pointed him away before he could even reach the gate. A dog barked furiously. A frightened mother hurried her children indoors. One by one, every door closed. The wind grew colder. The streets grew darker. The man lowered his head.
So this is freedom.
At the far end of the village stood a small stone house. It was neither grand nor wealthy, but it seemed warmer than every other home combined. Inside, a cheerful fire crackled in the fireplace. Soup simmered gently over the stove. 2 beautiful silver candlesticks bathed the room in soft golden light. Marie, the housekeeper, carefully laid the table for supper. Persum, the bishop's sister, stood near the window with folded arms. She watched her brother returning from outside with empty hands.
Brother, did you give away your scarf again?
The bishop smiled sheepishly.
Old Pierre was shivering. He needed it more than I did.
Persum sighed.
Yesterday, it was your scarf. Last week, it was your winter coat. And this morning, you gave Mrs. Martin the bread she'd brought to thank you. Do you ever keep anything for yourself?
The bishop laughed softly.
Of course, I keep wonderful company.
Persum tried to remain serious.
One day, you'll give away everything in this house.
The bishop looked around the little room.
If that day comes, we'll still have enough.
Enough? What will we have left?
The bishop smiled.
Each other, and hopefully, a little faith.
Marie chuckled quietly.
His lordship always wins these arguments.
Before Persum could answer, 3 heavy knocks echoed through the house. The laughter disappeared instantly. Marie slowly pulled back the curtain. Outside stood a large stranger, covered in snow. His beard was untidy. His clothes were ragged. His eyes looked tired, but strangely empty. Marie stepped back.
My lord, don't open the door.
Persum looked outside. She immediately noticed the yellow passport hanging from his coat.
He's a convict.
Another knock, harder this time. A tired voice came through the door.
Please, I've had nothing to eat since yesterday. If you cannot spare food, at least let me warm myself for a few minutes.
Marie shook her head.
He's dangerous.
Persum nodded.
There are children in the village. What if he harms someone?
The bishop quietly stood. He looked at his sister, then at Marie.
If every door has already been closed to him, where else can he go?
Without another word, he walked to the entrance. Persum hurried after him.
Brother, please don't.
The bishop gently placed a hand on her shoulder.
Fear has already followed this man all day. Let it stop here.
He opened the door. A gust of icy wind swept into the room. Snowflakes danced across the wooden floor. The stranger stood silently on the doorstep. His tired eyes moved from Marie to Persum, and finally to the bishop. He was already preparing himself for another refusal. Instead, the bishop smiled warmly.
Good evening, my friend. Please, come inside. You're freezing.
The stranger blinked in surprise.
You know who I am?
The bishop nodded.
I know you're cold. The rest can wait until after supper.
For several long seconds, the convict simply stared at him. No suspicion, no insults, no fear, only kindness. It was something he had almost forgotten existed. Slowly, he stepped across the threshold. Behind him, the snowstorm continued to rage. But for the first time in 10 years, someone had opened a door instead of closing one. The bishop pulled a chair toward the table.
Please, sit down.
The convict hesitated. For years, no one had invited him to sit at their table. He looked at Marie. She avoided his eyes. Persum remained standing. Only the bishop smiled. Slowly, the stranger took his seat. Marie placed a steaming bowl of soup before him. The aroma filled the room. The convict stared at it for a moment, almost afraid to touch it. Then hunger won. He seized the spoon and began eating with desperate speed. The hot soup burned his mouth. He barely noticed. He tore pieces from the bread with trembling hands. Crumbs scattered across the table. Within moments, the bowl was empty. An awkward silence filled the room. The convict lowered his eyes.
Forgive me. I had forgotten what real food tastes like.
Without saying a word, the bishop picked up the bowl. He filled it again, then quietly placed another loaf of bread beside him. The convict looked up, confused.
You're giving me more?
A hungry man rarely asks for a second bowl. His empty stomach asks for him. Eat.
The convict obeyed. This time, more slowly, almost carefully, as though afraid the meal might suddenly disappear. Later, the dishes were cleared away. The fire burned low. Outside, snow tapped gently against the windows. The bishop poured 2 cups of warm tea. He handed one to the stranger.
What is your name, my friend?
The man stared at him.
I had a name once. In prison, they took it away. For 10 years, I answered only to a number.
The room fell silent. After a long pause, he spoke again.
My sister's children were starving. I stole a loaf of bread. 1 loaf.
His voice became bitter.
The judge gave me 10 years. 10 years breaking stones. 10 years in chains. 10 years learning to hate.
Brief images flashed through his memory. Heavy iron shackles, cold prison walls, a guard's whip, endless rows of prisoners breaking rocks beneath the burning sun. He reached into his coat, pulled out the worn yellow's passport, placed it on the table.
This little paper follows me everywhere. Before anyone asks my name, they read this. Then they shut their door.
The bishop looked at the passport, then gently slid it back across the table.
Tonight, you are not a convict. You are my guest.
The stranger looked at him in disbelief.
Why? Why would you trust someone like me?
The bishop smiled.
Because everyone deserves one place where they are judged by who they are, not by who they were.
For the first time, the stranger's hardened expression softened, only slightly, but enough. Later that night, the house grew quiet. Marie retired to her room. Persam stopped beside the bishop.
Brother, at least put away the silver, just for tonight.
The bishop smiled gently.
If I hide my silver, I must first hide my trust. I'd rather lose the silver.
Persam shook her head.
One day your kindness will cost you dearly.
The bishop simply wished her good night. Moonlight filled the little house. Everything was silent, except one man couldn't sleep. The convict slowly opened his eyes. He sat up. His gaze wandered across the room. Then it stopped. On the mantelpiece, the 2 silver candlesticks gleamed softly in the moonlight. He stood, walked toward them, stopped, looked toward the bishop's room. The old man slept peacefully, without locking his door, without fear. The convict stepped back.
No.
He turned away, walked toward the door. His hand reached for the handle, then stopped. A flood of memories overwhelmed him. Prison chains, empty stomach, closed doors, the freezing wind, the hatred in people's eyes. He went back. He looked once more at the silver, then at the sleeping bishop. His voice trembled.
Forgive me.
With shaking hands, he picked up the silver, wrapped it carefully inside his coat, opened the door, and disappeared into the snowy night. Years of suffering had taught him one lesson: trust no one. Tonight, kindness had challenged that lesson, but old habits are harder to escape than prison walls. The following morning, Marie entered the sitting room carrying breakfast. She stopped abruptly. The mantelpiece was empty.
My lord, the silver!
Persam rushed in. One glance was enough.
I knew it! I warned you! That man has robbed us!
The bishop quietly looked toward the open door. Snow had drifted onto the floor. He remained perfectly calm.
I hope he finds what he truly needs.
Persam stared at her brother.
Brother, how can you still worry about him?
The bishop smiled gently.
Because I suspect he has carried a heavier burden than these candlesticks.
A loud knock echoed through the house. 3 policemen entered. Between them stood the convict. His wrists were bound. His head hung low. One officer proudly gave the silver to the bishop.
We caught him trying to leave the village. He claimed you had given him these.
The bishop stepped forward.
Ah, there you are, my friend.
Everyone looked at him in confusion. The bishop turned to the policeman.
He has told you the truth. I did give him the silver.
Silence. Marie looked at Persum. Persum looked at the bishop. The policemen looked at one another. No one understood. Then the bishop gently placed the 2 candlesticks in the convict's trembling hands.
My friend, you left these behind. They were part of my gift.
The convict stared at the bishop, unable to breathe, unable to speak. The policeman apologized to the bishop.
Please forgive us, my lord. We misunderstood.
Think nothing of it. You were only doing your duty.
The officers bowed politely, then quietly left. The door closed. The room fell silent once again. The convict stood motionless. Tears filled his eyes.
Why?
Because I refuse to believe that one mistake should decide the rest of a man's life.
The convict's voice broke.
No one has trusted me since the day I entered prison.
The bishop smiled warmly.
Then let today be the first.
He looked toward the silver candlesticks.
Take them, not as silver, but as a promise. Promise me that from this day forward you will live as an honest man.
The convict clutched the candlesticks to his chest. His rough hands trembled. For years, he had believed the world contained only cruelty. One act of mercy had shattered that belief.
Go in peace, my son. Leave the past where it belongs.
The storm had passed. Morning sunlight sparkled across the fresh snow. The former convict walked slowly along the village road. The silver candlesticks rested safely beneath his arm, not as stolen treasure, but as a light guiding him toward a new life. Some prisons are built of stone, others are built of fear, hatred, and despair. That winter morning, one act of kindness unlocked them all. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give another person is not money or food, but the chance to become someone better.